Hello YouTube world. I'm gonna start doing another video on this topic because I've been watching TV and stuff, the news, and the left-wing people, the Democrats, are pushing this bill so they'll keep terrorists from buying firearms. So I'm gonna label the title of this video: what is a terrorist? What constitutes a terrorist? And how you describe a terrorist? Has any of these people have terrorist training? I have, somewhat. Little, but I have terrorist training, nevertheless. So, with this new bill they're trying to push, they did a sit-in, which had failed. Now they're doing some other BS. That's going to stand off in Congress to get this bill passed. And they say this bill will prohibit terrorists from buying firearms. But I ask again, what is a terrorist? Is a terrorist, in their eyes, somebody like me will consider, some people consider me a extreme right-wing Christian, a right-wing radical? Am I a terrorist? Or an extreme left-wing radical? Will they classify them as terrorists? Would you have to have a lame, yeah, but have the same mindset as a liberal to be off the terrorist watch list? Or, just because somebody has somebody might have some extreme views on Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever religions out there in the world, so many I'm not care to name, or in some cases, paganism, because the Satanic Church believes in the second coming themselves. So, what constitutes a terrorist? So, you telling me, the average guy like me, let's say he don't do YouTube videos, nothing like that, but he has some right-wing views, okay? He's kind of middle of the line, but right-wing views, but he's pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution, but he's not real extreme about it, though. He talks about it, yes, but will that constitute to put him on the terrorist watch list? Or the average lady, as well? Or some extreme animal rights activists? Will you constitute them as a terrorist group? I can go on and on and on, but in a liberal mindset, what is a terrorist group? That's what I want to know. Are they going to use and abuse this bill? Let me tell you something. The bill sounds good. I admit that. It sounds really good. But how far will it take this new power they're trying to push? Are they going to start randomly putting people on the terrorist watch list to keep the average Joe or the average Jane from buying weapons? Is that what they're going to do? I want to know. So, they're going to take this bill, and it sounds sweet, it? It sounds sweet. And a friend of mine say it best. Just because you take a pile of shit and put maple syrup on it, whipped cream and cherry, it's still going to smell and taste like shit. It's not going to be any sweeter. And that's what it is. This bill is this shit. So I ask again, what constitutes a terrorist? What is a terrorist in a liberal mindset? I know the definition of a terrorist, and there's people out there that use extreme views and take extreme measures to promote the religious and political ideology and their belief system. But what is a terrorist? Is it, I would say a Muslim in the United States. I would say this. He was born and raised in the United States, but his descendant is Afghani. But, he does this traditional Muslim thing, says 4 prayers, reads the Quran, don't eat pork at all, don't drink alcohol, don't smoke cigarettes, nothing like that. He totally believes in Islamic faith, which is fine. Yet one day he happened to run across, say, an ISIS member or a Taliban member. He just ran across them. And this guy, because he's Muslim, he might not even like ISIS. He might not even like the Taliban, which a lot of Muslims don't like ISIS, the Taliban, or Al-Qaeda. None of them groups. But just because he ran talking to this guy for whatever reason, should they put him on a terrorist watch list? Should they? I just want to know. Or somebody that supports Israel. I support Israel. But because somebody supports Israel and their belief system, should you put them on a terrorist watch list? Should you? I'm asking you. And, just say a Jewish person or a Hebrew person in New York. Okay, goes to the synagogue on Saturdays, does his traditional, let's say, Jewish prayers, take their Bible and do this on the wall. Why? I don't know. That's how they do it, but he hates Arafat. And he doesn't like the Palestinians at all. Should he be on the terrorist watch list? Should we prohibit any of those people I mentioned for buying firearms? And I'll go one even better. Take a service person, man or woman, who served in the Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy, whatever have you, They actually did tours in Iraq. They're ground pounders, They actually saw combat action. It was in Iraq and Afghanistan both, which a lot of people have. There was Iraq and Afghanistan. IUDs, whole 9 yards, been in many shootouts, stuff like that. They got wounds on them, stuff like that, scars from the battles they fought in. They come back home. They have, a small trace of PSD, not severe, but small, have little nightmares, but over time they get over it. But because of that, should be on a terrorist watch list. Should not these people who went overseas, fought for our rights, fought for the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Third and Fourth and Fifth Amendment, should they be put on the terrorist watch list? Or somebody who, like me, totally believes in the Constitution, that loves the Constitution of the United States, and loves what America stands for. Yet some people in America say I have extreme views. So should I be on the terrorist watch list? Should my right to bear arms should be taken because I'm on the terrorist watch list? Now, this terrorist watch list bill that they're trying to pass real hard, are having this standing in Congress, which I think won't go nowhere. But they're having this little bullshit stand in, like the GOP bullshit that shut Washington down a little over a year ago, which accomplished not a damn thing. But you gotta question this bill. How much, if this bill gets passed, how much power Washington will have, and what would be to the point where they can pick and choose the person who can't own firearms just because of their belief system, their religious views, or their political views. So some person that totally leans right wing, hardcore conservative Republican, I'd say, very hardcore Christian, goes to church every Sunday, preaches about hell every Sunday morning, stuff like that. Should that person be on the terrorist watch list? And I guess a lot of the left-wing people say, yes, they should. Let's put it this way, too. Let's go to the inner cities of Chicago, Detroit, South Central LA, all those people. I would say, Afro-American people, Yeah, they're street people, and some say they're street thugs, ghetto all the way. Should we put them on the terrorist watch list? Because what they do, what kind of lifestyle they lead? Even though they ain't nothing really extremely dangerous, they might have peddle drugs and shit, but should we put them on a terrorist watch list as well? Or the few and the far between, but the African-American Republicans, because they're right-wing, they believe in the Constitution, believe what America stands for, should be on a terrorist watch list as well. Now, we can go all day on this. What about the Black Panther Party? You Google it on Week Encyclopedia, they're considered extreme left-wing views. Should they be put on the terrorist watch list? Even though they have extreme views, they really haven't done anything totally violent. They're like the black version of KKK. They just talk about damn shit. Now, I do admit, the Ku Klux Klan is a terrorist organization. The Aryan, most of the white supremacist people are terrorist organizations. I'll admit that in a heartbeat. Okay, and there's a faction, the Muslim faith are terrorist organizations. Yes, we gotta admit that as well. And as a Jewish faith, there's a faction in them are probably considered terrorist organizations. Yes, I will admit that as well. What about atheists? Be if they a faction in them, should they be put on the terrorist watch list because some of their and there are conservative atheists out there, believe it or not. And they don't believe in God, but they believe in the Constitution, they believe what America stands for, they believe in the Second Amendment. Should they be put on the terrorist watch list as well? Should they? Should just because your political views and your religious views and your ideology, your own personal ideology, what you believe in, should you be put on the terrorist watch list? That's a question we got to ask. And I do admit this. If a person is going on anti-government sites and trying to figure out ways to overthrow the United States government through means of force, yes, we have to watch this guy. It should raise a few eyebrows, and it should be on the FBI list. And he probably should be on a terrorist watch list as well. But here's the thing. The person did not commit a crime. That's one thing we got to ask. He did not commit the crime. You see, based on our judicial system back in the States, even though you're charged with a crime, doesn't make you guilty of any crime. You're innocent until proven guilty. That's the whole 9 yards. And pretty much what this bill is going to do, in my opinion, if this bill gets passed, I pray it doesn't, that when this bill is passed, it's going to prevent a lot of honest, hard-working Americans to purchase firearms because the government's going to put them on the terrorist watch list solely based on the political and religious views. That's what they're going to do. Just because a person thinks differently than you do, does that make that person a terrorist? It does not. Like I say again, they sugarcoat this bill. because what happened in Orlando, Florida, say about a week or so ago. But they sugarcoat the bill. It's a shit bill. They're going to put, maple syrup, whipped cream, cherry on top, sweeten this shit bill up for you, and make it sound good. But you're not questioning this bill. But a lot of Americans, yeah, pass this bill. It's going to prevent terrorists from buying firearms. Let me tell you something. That guy who did that awful shooting in Orlando, Florida, okay, he would have gotten a firearm. He would get what he needed to do that act, if he could buy it legally or not. And like one of my friends told me, it should not matter if he purchased a weapon legally or illegally. What matters is he went into that nightclub and committed that heinous act, which killed a whole bunch of people, 49, wounded 53, something like that. Ammar Maheen. And by the way, it was his father, who worked for the CIA. From what I understand, was an officer for the CIA. That's what I heard. And he was on the terrorist watch list, not once, but twice, and got cleared twice. So you got to ask yourself, whose fault is this? Let me tell you something. There was a random shooting in Germany not too long ago. And the old saying that there's no guns in Germany. Well, obviously somebody in Germany has a damn gun, because they couldn't do a mass shooting without one. They need a gun to do a mass shooting. That's the bottom line. And what I understand too, a friend of mine told me, they didn't say that too long before after the Orlando shooting, that they tried another mass shooting in Texas. You don't mess with Texas. But they stopped the mass shooting real quick for anybody that got killed. Why? Because almost everybody in Texas got a goddamn gun. But before I shut this out, who is a terrorist? Who should be on that list? You're automatically going to say, well, it's going to be Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIS, the Mujahideen, the Aryan Brotherhood, the KKK, maybe in some cases the Black Panthers. Okay. I'm not arguing that point. But let's take some groups, out there. Let's say the Rainbow Coalition, or the MBGT, whatever the fuck you want to call that gay activist group. Or, the Tea Party groups. Some other conservative groups out there. And some liberal groups, the Green Party, stuff like that. Should we put them on a terrorist watch list as well? Even none of those groups I mentioned did commit any terrorist acts. They even threat any terrorist acts, for I understand. But because of the political views, should we put them on a terrorist watch list? I can go on this for hours and hours, YouTube world, but I'm not. But we need to question this bill. What this bill is a knee-jerk reaction. Is Obama exploiting a crisis to achieve his political gains? And if you get this bill passed, stating that if you're a member of a terrorist group or you're a terrorist watch list, well, I believe, that you can't own a firearm, they're going to strip away your Second Amendment rights. That means you can't purchase any firearms to protect your family, protect your house. That means veterans come back from war. They could put them on a terrorist watch list and prohibit them from owning firearms. People who serve in the fucking military will be prohibited probably to own firearms because they're suspected terrorists. And let me point this out one more time before I go. And Benjamin Franklin said it best. I say it many times in the past, and I'll say it many times in the future. This is a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Those who are willing to sacrifice personal liberty for security deserves neither liberty nor security. And that part is so much true. So let me tell you something. If you're willing to pass this bill, and you support this bill, and this bill gets passed, you might as well strip away the Second Amendment, because it's going to be gone. And America, you're willing to strip your liberty, your civil liberties, just for your own personal protection. And I'll guarantee you, this bill will not prevent terrorists from getting weapons. France should be the prime example of it. Some strict control laws may lower gun violence down a little bit, but will not stop terrorist acts. That's just the bottom line. So if you think that this new bill is going to stop terrorists from getting weapons, all I gotta say is you're naive, you're confused, and I will not argue over on that fact. Well, YouTube world, that's all I gotta say about that. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, and remember, if you're willing to sacrifice your own personal liberties for security, you deserve neither personal liberty nor security. Thank you for watching, YouTuber. Have a good day, and bye.